home sweet home. Home sweet home.
Location, location, location. The old adage of real estate holds just as true for residential real estate as commercial, I discovered recently in buying my first place in New York City. This is Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. There are 3 types of location I discovered that were critical in buying my first co-op. There's the location, the big one, of the neighborhood. Then there's the location of the building within that neighborhood, and then the nitty-gritty little details. The location of your unit in that building. So the location of your neighborhood. There's dozens of neighborhoods in New York City. This is just Manhattan, and these are divided into hundreds of micro-neighborhoods, it turns out. So you have to create a critical checklist and figure out what's the most critical aspects for you in selecting your new neighborhood. For me, it ended up being short commutes. I hate commuting. As well as making sure there's more than one subway line. I learned the hard way. New York City, in case you haven't noticed, the subways never run where they're supposed to on the weekends, ever. So having a backup subway line is critical. Parks, because I have a dog, and of course the culture of the neighborhood you're looking at. For me, I wasn't interested in the really loud neighborhoods with the parties and the pubs and the clubs all night. And then there's like the ones that you don't even hear a mouse. Like, no one's there, I swear. I don't know where they are, but they're not in the neighborhoods. So I want something in the middle, probably something a little more family-oriented, so you have really good restaurants, quieter at night, but a nice community vibe, and not in the middle of all of this. So I went north. Well, first actually, we went park hunting. My dog and I hopped on the subway and went to all of them. Central Park with the manicured parks, Inwood, which feels like you're stepping into the wilds of upstate New York. And we finally found Fort Tryon Park in the northern aspect of Manhattan. It's home to the Cloisters, which is the medieval art collection for the Metropolitan Museum of Art. And it's conveniently located at the north end of Hudson Heights, a neighborhood bookended on the south end by the GW Bridge at 181st. And it's west of Broadway to the Hudson River. It's also got the highest point of all of Manhattan in it, in Bennett Park, just an interesting fact, where Fort Washington was built during the Revolutionary War. So I found my neighborhood. Parks, restaurants, great. Now for the building. This is where the realtor comes in handy. In New York City, the realtors actually specialize in just individual neighborhoods. That's all they do, just like one neighborhood of like 20 blocks. So my realtor was great. She gave me the lowdown on which buildings had crappy boards that wouldn't let you do anything, including sell or renovate, which ones were really used as investment properties, so it felt like you were living in an apartment building instead of a tight-knit community of owners. How far you were from the grocery store, and if that grocery store delivers, a 10-minute walk to the grocery store is fine. Back with your groceries, not so good. And then the easy stuff I can figure out. How far is that park, and how far is that subway station? So I found a building. I thought I wanted Art Deco. Turns out location was much more critical. So now for your unit, right? Unless you're buying it in a brand new building with tons of units, you're either going to be limited to the few units for sale, or you're going to have to flash a lot of money at the current owner, which I didn't have. Apparently that happens in New York City. So things I was considering. How many shared walls do you have with your neighbors? Where are you relative to the elevator? Because if you're next to the elevator, not only do you hear the elevator, but all the people waiting for the elevator, getting on and off the elevator, banging their carts next to the elevator. Trash compactor, also not a good location. Which floor you're on? Is it a building that's a walk-up with a dog walking up and down 5 flights of stairs every day, like 20 times? Not happening. And if the elevator's old, if you're on the top floor, you're going to wait 10 minutes for that beautiful 100-year-old elevator show up. So it also turns out from reading engineering reports, you don't want one that's on the top floor because in co-ops, they repair the leak if it starts, but they don't repair the damage inside your unit. So no top floors. even though I like the quietness of the top floor. Finally found a unit, exterior wall, so I didn't have to worry about what was being thrown in air shafts. Didn't have to worry about Chinese food or something smelling all the time, or Italian. And quiet, only share one wall with someone else, great. And for me, a fabulous view. Looking at woods, river, and the GW, nothing else. Hides the ugly part of Jersey, the GW, very nice. And with the A line going express, my commute's only about 25 minutes. Plus there's 4 parks in walking distance for me and my dog to enjoy. So by following the old adage of real estate, location, 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 I managed to find my home sweet home.